I feel like I'm doing something wrong if I don't tell you about homologio, because I said it's the same logic, and then everyone that speaks English is going, Alex, I know what homogeneous versus heterogeneous. Homogeneous means it's not the same. Heterogeneous means it's the same. That's why I'm heterosexual. You're homosexual. Well, homologio means to confess. And like I got concerned about the word homologio's usage because of like the usage in the New Testament in John, because everything's confessing, and like I got concerned about Origen's use of homologio at some point. I can't remember which book I was reading, but he was talking about a lot of confessing stuff. For him, it was actually confessing, and like he was like saying like you need to like confess like to your church, like if you have sin, like you need to like let them know, like you need to like bring people in on your sin. And like but I've also seen logos used for like literal logic, not just for words, and not just for like the logos was God, like, which is John. And like I mean logos is a very complicated thing to explain, but like I got obsessed with it because like why is everything, and like if I was doing this, I can tell myself things with the structure of the language, like, Alex, focus on this. So one thing I think is important to note, like if you're a Christian that wants to be able to understand the Bible, like understand the actual Bible, is like to prophesy is to proclaim, and it's to preach, and it's to like announce. So you can proclaim something for God, and then you're prophesying for God. But the word can be used in so many different ways, and like so. Like, can Caiaphas prophesy? Someone told me like God wouldn't use Muhammad to prophesy. That guy's a murderer. Blah 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 blah. He was murdering the right people apparently, and like clearly, if Caiaphas, who is not Nicodemus, this is the second high priest we've seen in John, is prophesying, then like it's not necessarily using your kidneys, which is the Holy Spirit, to receive the logos, which then goes through your heart, which is your mind, which is your carda, right? I can't remember. Yeah. So exomologumenen, I'm reading it in English, I can't even say it. Give praise to the, like, is like, it's so hard to, it's like to give with the logos, but to not, because exomo, like, because like, are they using mo as negations in Greek? They're not using mo, because mu is you, and may is the negation to like make it negative. So like we're talking about using, in our language, we're using na and ma. I'm sorry if I'm getting sidetracked, but like it's important to note that with Origen, what's cold is bad and what's warm is good. And like I do think that like we have to consider that like they're not going to say cool, like cool tamam, like it's not like cold weather. It's everything tamam. So when he says ascending, which is going up in English, like he's saying he's going deeper into the logos in English. And once again, that's an opposite from Greek. And like we're seeing like tons of opposites. Down here, he's talking about like if you become worthy of the kingdom of heaven, which is the sky, you will receive certain boundaries in the sky from the principal stars that have been mentioned. Move over to the teaching of the resurrection, likened to the stars. But like he says the heavens explain the glory of God, but that's not what I'm talking about. Like I'm talking about like he's talking about like borders in outer space. So when he talks about glory, what is that? It's like to magnify, to like make bigger. So like if you magnify the text right now, you would zoom in, you'd look closer at it. It's like bigger. So here's a very clear example of he has set borders of nations, like of the countries, according to the number of angels of God. So like the amount of people like me, like the heavenly beings from Job, like we set the borders of the world based on that. All right. So a shadow, I think, is the word for indication of something. I walk through the shadow of death, like an indication of death. But clearly, like a shadow is your shadow. Like if you're a human, like you can see your shadow with the light casting darkness. I don't know. Like for me, I think that like I've consistently seen it in weird ways to make me get to the point that I think it's talking about like an indication of something, because it would also hold a shadow of good things to come, like an indication of good things to come. So here he uses therapeuin according to the notes at the bottom. Origen speaks of those who can administer God's treatment, therapia of sins. But what is therapeuo in Greek, like that we can't get rid of? I think it's to march, like hostratia therapeuo, like the army marched. Yeah. In English, we have therapy, which is like going to a psychiatrist and talking to like help your brain. So like clearly like that would be coming from God's treatment, but like it's a weird use of the word therapeuo because like in the military, there's nothing worse than having to therapeuo. Like if you studied military history, like you study Stonewall Jackson, like he was a Southern general during the Civil War. That guy would march and like his men, like they ruined their feet. That guy would move so fast. The enemy would have no idea where he was because he'd end up like on the other side of the river because like he would torture his soldiers with therapeuo. And that's why like it's a very weird thing there. So yeah, this language is gonna make sense. Like I'm gonna do this. Like I know, like I've gotten that far. Like people need me to invent this language, because like we need a way to communicate with the Arabs. Because like my understanding is like they're a real problem with like the Arab people is that we can't talk to them because ein, like it's so hard to say sima, like or gama. Like it's not gama, it's gama. Like I mean that kind of because like that is like a difference in Arabic and like our language needs to not have differences. Like we need clarity without like trying, and that's kind of what like this language D that I'm inventing is, which I'm not inventing. I'm trying to recreate. Like is about. To wound someone is apocalypsios. Isn't that weird? Apocalypsios, like because the apocalypse is the end. Like all these words, like you really need to like get into them because apo you're seeing all the time. And like it is like in my language, it is in police because po is police. I don't know. I want to finish this because I don't want to make another video. So it I think but because Lib-non, which is the word for frankincense, but if you know Lebanon, it's the country that Israel is fighting right now almost, and it's all. But in Arabic, it's Lubanan. So I think that blah is famous. I'm just going to move on because I don't know what Lebanon is, and I'm still figuring out Lu, which would probably be Lu, but I don't know. So blah is famous, I think, because of blasphemer, because blaspheme. I can't remember how I figured it out. It was my decision. So let's talk about like different forms of pope, because there's a name pope in English, right? The pope, the preacher. So if we're changing pope, we change it to pope. Spell it different. So popes would be plural. Ho popacy, the papacy in English is like the office for the papate, for the pope. So papal authority, I don't know if it would be papal auth, but like clearly it's not going papal again. It's going to be the same. Pope Tuck is my pope. Pope T. Wait, no. Pope Tuck is your pope. He has Pope Tuck. He's your pope. He is Pope T. Like he's my pope. Pope Tu, like he is Pope Tu. He is his pope. Ta Sarcum Pope. So that's to become pope. Because sar to be. Come, which it might not be cum, it might be, I don't want to do come. Tasarcum pope, which would be poap, to become pope. So I will start pope, like I will be pope. I will sarcum pope. Okay, yeah, you can say I will sarcum pope. I will become the pope, because I am becoming the pope is anawilsar pope, and anasar pope is I am being pope. Because I don't think you have to do sarring pope. We'll figure this out later. I'm running out of time, but I just wanted to show you like what I'm thinking.